Hello, I'm Robin Henning, and welcome to another Exchange Life Nugget of Truth. I've had a number of clients going through the grieving process lately, so I thought it would be wise to review the different stages of the grieving process for everyone. Remember that God never intended for us to feel grief, and that it's toxic to our body, to our soul, and to our spirit. This is why Isaiah tells us that the Messiah is the only one who can carry our grief and our sorrow. Now, the first stage of grieving is denial. It's the numbness and shock when something bad happens, when you lose a loved one, or you go through divorce, or you lose a job. Any kind of change, believe it or not, any change, even if it's positive change, leaves us with a sense of loss. And so there's going to be different degrees of intenseness of the grief that we feel. So the first stage, we're thinking, this can't be. This can't be happening to me. This is just a bad dream and I'm going to wake up, right? Well, no, it's not right. It isn't going to all of a sudden go away. But this shock, this numbness, this denial stage is often what we feel through, for example, when we lose a loved one, when we're going through that funeral preparation process, all the plans and, the day of and all of that. We get through it, And from that stage, we then transition to what I call the regret stage. This is where we're hit with all the woulda, coulda, shouldas. And Satan loves this stage, where he seeks to beat us up with all kinds of what if thoughts. Well, what if I had made this decision instead? Or maybe there was some other treatment I could have found and had my loved one go through. Or what if it's a divorce, what if I had just done this instead in my marriage, and then my spouse wouldn't have left? Or what if I had just done this better at work and they wouldn't have gotten rid of my job or fired me? There's all kinds of woulda, coulda, shoulda statements that the enemy will flood us with. And this beast called regret is a miserable companion. And so he loves to launch these statements and blame us then for the loss that we've gone through, that somehow it's our fault. And as the true extent of the loss sets in, so does depression. A lot of times, the death of a dream, this is never going to be, we're never going to live happily ever after, or I'm never going to retire from this position, or, be with this company my whole life, or whatever. This death of a dream sets in, and depression will manifest through sleep or appetite loss. There's going to be low energy, really hard time concentrating, uncontrollable crying spells that pop up at the worst possible moment. And then Satan, of course, he's not going to back off. He's right there to hammer hard with feelings of loneliness, of failure, of emptiness, of isolation, and he loves self-pity. And his goal is to trap us in this stage of depression. And then along with that depression, he's going to add the stage of anger because of feeling powerless or helpless and feeling abandoned. We just get angry either at the person who's left us or, okay, you ready for this? He gets us angry at God. He blames God. If God is so good, then why did he take my loved one? If God is so good, then why did he let me lose my job? If God is so good, then why did my spouse leave me? Or if God is so good, then why did my child move away? And why is there an empty nest? We become irrational at times in our thinking, or the enemy just wants us to lock in on anger at somebody. And if he can get us angry at God, he's happy. Because he knows then that we're not going to go to God for healing. We're going to say, God, I don't trust you anymore. You stay over there, I'll stay over here. We're good. But we're not, because that toxic grief is still within us, and it will sink our ship. And it's exactly what Satan's trying to do. So, beloved, we have to process through to the next stage, which is the healing stage, and that's the stage of acceptance. And it doesn't feel good to have to accept some of these negative changes, but it's really the path of healing. And it really comes, too, from understanding that the only person we have the right to control is ourselves. And there's a lot of things about ourselves that we can't control. But we can't control the people around us. We can't control whether accidents happen. We can't control the weather. We can't control any of the choices of people. If our spouse leaves us, we can't control what decision they make. So many things in lives, in fact, the majority of things that go on around us are beyond our ability or right to control. So we have to release those and not say they have to be this way. No, we'd like to see them turn out a certain way, but we know going into it that we can't control the people around us or the events around us or circumstances. And we have to change our expectation intensity down to that level of desire. And that's what will get us through these changes, when we have that perspective that God has, and we realize, wow, the only person I have the right to control is me, and I need the Spirit of the Lord to make that a reality. So, beloved, look, when you're going through grief, you have to realize, okay, God is going to work this together in such a way that victory and good is going to come out of it. I don't know how He's going to do it, but He is, because that's who He is. He is so good. His goodness overcomes every evil thing that can come into our life. It's that much more powerful. And so as I trust Him and I go to Him and I say, okay, Lord, I'm not happy about this, but I accept that this is the reality that I'm in right now. I know You love me. I know You're with me. I give You my hurt. I give You my grief. I'm going to leave all that at the foot of the cross. All that negative, toxic emotion you have to give to Him. Otherwise, it will settle into your hidden chambers and it will sink you. It will affect you physically. It will affect you emotionally. And it will affect your spiritual relationship with the Lord. So if you're going through any kind of loss, whether it be the loss of a loved one, and the way I get through that is I just stay focused on their benefit. I don't deny my loss. I acknowledge that before the Lord, but I focus on loving them enough to let them be with the Lord in glory, and to say, you know what, I don't wish anybody to come back. I wouldn't do that to them. I love them too much to say, I need you back. No, I want them to be pain-free and in glory with the Lord, because that's the best possible thing for them. And I also cling to the rapture and realize that, you know what, I'm going to be reunited with them shortly. But if it's a different kind of loss, like divorce or a job or any other kind of change, you know, really, again, keeping a perspective on what you can control and what you can't control. Namely, you can control yourself, you can't control these other events, is really going to help you keep perspective on transitioning through that change and to acceptance and to giving the hurt and the loss and the abandonment over to the Lord. He knows exactly what you're feeling. So give those toxic emotions to Him. Let Him bring healing. Otherwise, the enemy is going to keep you trapped in regret, despair, depression, and anger. And that is not a good place to be. So remember, the Lord Jesus, He loves you. He delights in you. He is going to bring good out of all the pain. He promises us that. Keep perspective on the goals and desires, and you'll be able to get there on the other side. And if you need help, please call me, call a counselor. I do phone sessions anywhere. If you need to talk to me, please give me a call, or call another Christian counselor in your area who's local, who can help you through the stages of grief. I hope this encourages you. I hope you have a blessed week in Jesus.